Welcome back to the Love Shown podcast. This is Soul Sundays. And on today's episode of Soul Sundays, we are going to be talking about you being qualified. Please continue to watch and listen, for this is the Love Shown podcast. Hi guys, welcome back to the Love Shown podcast. This is Soul Sundays. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the spirit of fear and that you don't need qualifications for what God has for you. You are well more than qualified. That is what we're going to be talking about on this episode. I don't know much about fear just quite yet. I haven't studied on it. I haven't gotten my own understanding of fear. Because, the whole cliche saying of read your Bible, get your own, read it, get your own understanding, interpretation of it. And until I got older and I actually started reading my Bible, I understood what that meant, because things that were said to me in the Bible was not how I interpreted it. So the pastor could preach and he could give you a word of how he interprets a scripture. And then you can go home and read it and be like, oh, that's not what I got from it. So that's why people say get your own understanding. So whatever I'm about to say right now, please get your own understanding, please, of fear. But to me, what I've been told is that fear is the devil. God did not give us the spirit of fear. That is the devil. And when we're talking about the spirit of fear, that is fear of getting your blessing, fear of overcoming, fear of, oh, what if I take this risk? It won't work out. We got to be courageous. We can't let fear stop us. You know how many people have probably lived their lives and because of fear, they didn't accomplish what they could have accomplished. If they would have, I'm sure if everyone saw a video of themselves, if you do this, this is what you're going to have, I'm sure everyone would do it. I know there's people out there that could have so much better lives right now, but because they let fear stop them, they didn't do it. And I don't want you guys to let fear stop you. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let the devil stop you from getting your blessing, for getting what God has for you. In Judges, which a lot of people might come for me right now, but for right now, my favorite book in the Bible is Judges. And you probably are like, what? There was a lot going on in Judges, especially when you're reading the Bible. It was a lot in Genesis. I'm like, dang, this story was in Genesis. Dang, this story was in Genesis. Noah, Abraham, Adam and Eve, of course, which everyone knows. I'm like, dang, this is Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm like, dang, that was in that. Good grief. It was a whole lot of our stories that we've learned in Sunday school in Genesis, right? But then it starts going a little down because, the people was in the wilderness for 40 years and it was getting boring. Not gonna lie. The Bible was getting boring. And I was just like, woo, child. And then here come Judges. And it just, pew, pew, pew. Like it just, the stories kept coming and coming and coming. And I'm like, this is horrible. But it grabbed my attention. And why it grabbed my attention, I know I'm going off and on a tangent, but I just want to say this. What grabbed my attention is that every single time we sin over and over and over again. As Christians, we sin over and over again. And we always come back to God. And then we sin again. And then we come back to God. And then we sin again. And I really felt God's presence over me while I was reading Judges. And I felt aggravated. I felt so aggravated. It's so weird to explain. Like, it wasn't my aggravation. I felt a presence of aggravation. And kind of like do you see now? But I'm so glad that there's grace. God forgave them every single time. I'm going to stop talking about Judges because I get emotional about it. But in Judges, Gideon was in Judges. And the Spirit of the Lord came to him and said, wow, great man. You are finna do wonderful things. And he was like, who, me? I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not this wonderful man. I can't lead an army. I can't fight and win these battles. I'm scared. I'm shy. I'm the weakest. I'm the fattest. I'm the smallest. I'm the ugliest. I'm the whatever. It's what we tell ourselves. Is what we tell ourselves, right? And that's the devil. The devil gets in your head. God himself, the Spirit of the Lord himself, came down to Gideon and said to him what you're going to do. And he was like, I don't believe you. You know, Gideon said, Lord, I do it too. I'm not going to lie. I do it too. He said, Lord, okay, if this is really you, if this is really you, make this sheep skin wet and let the ground around it be dry so that I know that this is really you, Lord. And the Lord did it. And he was like, okay, Lord, if this is really you. And I was just like, oh my God. But he knew it was God speaking to him. But you let fear take control over you. God is speaking to you, and you know he's speaking to you. You know he's telling you to do something, but because of fear, you're not doing it. That's the devil. The devil starts getting in our head like, oh, God said that you can be a CEO. You're going to be the CEO of this company. There's no way. That's what the devil will say. There's no way you're going to be the CEO. It has to be a white man. They have to have a bachelor's, master's. They have to know analytics and how things form and move. You have to have this. You have to have that. So don't even bother with even trying to take the path. Lord have mercy. Woo! Don't even bother. Is what the devil says. Don't even bother. You are worthless. You are not worth that. Oh, Lord. And then we believe him and we don't do it. And we done missed our blessing. We done missed our opportunity. I don't know about y'all, but I don't ever want the devil to praise and to rejoice because of me, because they made me miss my blessing. But he started getting to Gideon's head and say, you're the weakest. You're not that. You can't win battles. You can't do this. You can't do that. And he asked God, please give me a sign if that's you. And he finally got it through his head that it was God. And he was like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. He finally got the courage to do it. And you know what he did? He beat the army, and he only beat it with about, I want to say 300 men. Don't quote me. He beat thousands with just hundreds, because God was with him and he followed God's instructions. And I know it's hard. There's a lot of things going on TikTok right now with, struggling on waiting on the Lord, and how do you know when you hear God's voice? Just continue to pray. Clear your mind and continue to pray and ask God, Lord, please let me hear your voice. Speak to me. Speak through me. Just continue to ask him. Continue to ask him. And trust me, when you hear his voice, you'll know it. You will know it. And sometimes God doesn't speak to you all the time. He doesn't, But when we do what God tells us to do and we do what he says, his spirit comes within us and we get the courage to do it. So don't let anybody tell you, or yourself, don't even let you tell you that you're not it. You're not worth it. You're not the strongest. You're not the prettiest. You can't do this. You can't do that. Or I'm unable because of this. Or I'm unable through that. I thought you could do all things. Ain't that what he said? You just quoted that a year ago on Sunday. I can do all things through Christ. Was singing it to the top of your lungs. But then a year later, when your blessing comes, all of a sudden, oh, well, I don't have the money for that. Oh, I don't have the means for that. Or I'm unable to do that. Oh, I'm not qualified for that. I don't have the numbers. I don't have the degree. You are qualified for whatever God has for you. I'm going to say it again. You are well qualified for what God has for you. You are qualified. You are qualified. Don't ever let anyone around you, don't ever let whatever it says on Indeed, the qualifications, yeah, you know those? Yeah, scratch that. Apply. You never know. So don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever say, oh, I don't have that. I don't have this. If you think you're the weakest, God uses the weak. God uses the most unlikely to succeed. In your yearbook, you were voted most likely to not succeed, or all them little things. Yeah, whoever wasn't put in there, or whoever people thought was less, God will uplift. He will. And if you were voted the most successful and you're not, and you're like, oh, is that why not? No, you still can be the most successful. You still can do it. No matter at what age, no matter how old you are, you can still follow your dreams and you can still make it happen. Don't let anything say, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that. You can have it. You have to pray, and you have to follow God, and you have to put God into everything. When you put God into everything, and when God has ordained it, it is so. He said, I will give you your heart's desires if you do my will. If you remain obedient, faithful to me, I will bless you. I will give you your heart's desires. So stop beating yourself up. Stop letting the devil come into your head and tell you what you can and cannot do. Because he tells you some things that you can do too. He tells you some things you can do too. And he makes you think that you can sin and you can't. Oh, go ahead. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Do that. Oh, it'll be all right. Just do it. Call and cast out the spirit of distractions and bind the devil, because the devil is super duper busy. super duper busy. So don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do and what you aren't qualified for. And then, oh, you don't have that. And oh, to have that job, you got to do this and do that. No, that's what you had to do. Oh, I had to do this. I had to do. No, that's what you had to do. These comedians now, they're so mad at the new age comedians. They're so mad at them because they have to do less work. Well, at least they say less work. Y'all, social media is hard work, first of all. I don't know why y'all think it's easy, but whatever. You're so mad at them for making all of this money by just not doing stand up ever. And they're mad at them. It's like, dude, you had to fight blood, sweat, and tears to get a movie role. I didn't have to. Yeah, you did have to walk up and down the streets barefoot to get water. I don't have to. Yeah, you had to go through the trenches. You had to go through the trenches. I don't have to. People start getting in your head too, all around you, like, oh girl, that's unattainable. You can't do that. Do you know what you got to do to get that? Yeah, pray to God. Ask God for guidance and wisdom. Show me the way. Yeah, ask God to show me the way. And every message ain't for everyone either. And I might touch on that a little bit later too, but every message ain't for everyone. If God told you to stop eating chips, he told you that. He didn't tell me that. He told you that. He told you to take 12 steps. He may tell me to take 2. Everyone is supposed to get what they have differently. Differently. Everyone is not going to have the same path. It is not a one size fit all. So honestly, you may not want to ask advice to certain people. You know, ask God, say, Lord, who can I ask advice for on this? Should I go to YouTube? Should I go to TikTok? Should I go to my mom? Should I go to my dad? Aunties, uncles, cousins? Who should I go to? I want to make sure I'm getting all the right information. So the path that you took or the path that somebody else took is probably not the path that you have to take. If God told you to do it, it's already done. You already have it. You already have it, baby. If God says you have it, you already have it. But we let fear stop us. Because we're like, ooh, I'm not qualified for that. I can't do that. Lord, I can't do that. I think God told me something the other day. And I was like immediate fear. Because I was like, okay, wait a minute. Is this it? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Oh my God. Okay. And I'm doing it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm doing the same thing Gideon did. I'm like, okay, Lord, if you said this, give me a sign. Give me a clear. I need a clear sign, Lord. Like, come on, bro. You know, but yeah, I think it's okay to get clarity. Because, of course, you don't want to run your life. I don't want to run my life, Lord. Y'all, if we had control over our lives, we will be lost. We will be somewhere. We will be in the wilderness probably for longer than 40 years if we ran our lives. But if God runs it, we will only be there for 11 days. Lord have mercy. Them people in the wilderness was what was an 11-day trip turned to 40 years. I think it was 39 or maybe 38 in 7 months or something like that. I don't know. Pastor Skip said the exact time. I don't remember, but I don't know about you guys. But I want God to be the head of my life. I want him to run my life. I do not want to be in the driver's seat. You can go ahead and drive, honey. I'm going to give it all to you. Because when I tried to do it by myself last time, look where I ended up. I don't want to wait 40 years. We don't have that type of time. We ain't got that kind. Y'all got 40 years? I don't want my blessing in 40 years. I want it now. So let God be the head of your life. Let him control your life. Let him be the decision maker. So yes, y'all, if y'all think he said something to you, go ahead and ask for clarity, just to be sure. And if you don't hear anything, either it's not time yet, or that's a no. I think that's what my husband said. My husband said, if you don't hear nothing, that means do not proceed. Do not proceed until further instructions, literally. He said, if you don't hear nothing, it's a no until further instructions. But just know, guys, that y'all are well qualified. You are qualified for whatever God has for you. You are qualified for it. All right, guys. I have no idea how long this is. I think that was probably extremely short. But yeah. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another Soul Sundays. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about the podcast so far. And to my new subscribers, hi. Thank y'all for subscribing. I hope that y'all are getting a word from this, and I hope that I'm getting y'all creative juices flowing and getting y'all excited about having a relationship with God, because I feel like it's the best relationship you can have. It's the best relationship you can have. The calmness of it. It is a little chaotic at times, but the overall of feeling loved and knowing how much God loves you is just amazing. And I hope that you guys are getting into the word more and starting to be like, you know what? Yeah. So I hope I can do that for you guys. But yeah, I will see y'all next time. Bye.